Something I see a lot of in the cars I work on are cars built by restoration companies for the purpose of resale, usually at auctions, as opposed to being restored for an individual. For these companies to run a profit, there are almost always corners cut. This 1966 Aston Martin DB6 Vantage is an example. These restoration cars always have immaculate, shiny paint, new interiors, beautifully detailed engine bays, re-chromed bumpers, and shiny new wheels. But underneath, they have not given these beauties the same attention to detail, usually reusing old suspension bushings. They leak, the batteries drain, difficulties with starting, running, driving, and whether everything works is always questionable. They are just an unpleasant driving experience. On this Aston, the owner contacted me stating this car was overheating. Now, I don't have much information on this particular DB6's history, who has stored it, who's owned it, where it has lived, other than it has had several owners in a relatively short period of time, and the current owner bought it a couple years ago. This tells me that the car is likely not very fun to drive, and this seems to be the case. It is hard to start if the battery is not dead first, has a strong vibration above 80 miles an hour, it leaves oil spots everywhere it goes, it constantly fouls spark plugs and misfires, it eats belts, the AC performance is marginal, and it gets unpleasantly hot in the cabin, which is not helped as the power windows randomly decide not to work. I've been working with the current owner for 2 years to try and rectify these concerns. We have replaced the radiator, which was the original, and simply given a coat of shiny new black paint during the restoration. I've replaced trailing arm bushings and resealed the rear axle. I've re-engineered the AC condenser and fan, made a new bracket so that a sanding compressor can be used instead of the old York compressor for improved AC performance. I've removed the dash and added heat insulation on the firewall and in the footwells to help with heat abatement. I've replaced the original Aston Martin 5-speed with a Tremec 5-speed to solve the leaks and worn-out synchros. Different transmission mounts for the vibration at higher speeds, and most recently, to correct inconsistent spark at high RPMs, changed from a points and condenser setup to an electronic ignition while rebuilding the distributor, and also replacing the original Lucas coil from 1966, which had also simply received a fresh coat of paint during the car's refurbishment. Also, in this last round of work, I rejetted the Weber carburetors to resolve a lack of power at high RPMs. This car has lost its original set of made in Italy Webers, as they were, I presume, replaced during the restoration with a trio of made in Spain carbs that were not really tuned for this engine, and since no one took the time to properly set everything up, the car would go very lean above 4,000 RPMs. But even after all of this, there remain issues. The power windows still occasionally don't work. I still don't feel like this car pulls as well as it should, especially compared to the triple SU carbureted DB6 that I also have in the shop. There remains a decent oil leak from the rear main seal. Why wouldn't you add a proper one-piece rear main seal to replace the two-piece rope seal while you have the crankshaft removed during rebuild? And I do believe this engine has been rebuilt given its overall external condition. I also believe that at some point the camshafts were timed for standard cams and not for Vantage cams, resulting in a lack of air at high RPMs. All of these are cost-cutting in effect to maximize resale profit, and it does not benefit the car community.
I wish this Aston was an outlier, but unfortunately I've had to spend hours and hours sorting out all kinds of classic cars for clients over the years. I don't really fault the clients for purchasing these cars with these issues, as they are being sold for top dollar prices, usually from reputable resellers, and being represented as a road-ready vehicle.
It's hard to watch the time, the money, and ultimately the disappointment for my clients to fix all these corners that have been cut by the companies trying to make a pretty penny by reselling a unsorted car.
I believe we are stewards of these older cars, and that they deserve the best to our individual capabilities that we can give them to keep them on the road until the time comes to pass them on and let someone else enjoy the smiles.